Alright, so what's up guys? Max here. It's our first video and I'm just going to be going over some of the most common chess openings and what you really want to start out with when you're playing. So say you're white, you don't want to just play a piece willy-nilly. You want to accomplish a few things in the first 10-15 moves. One of the most important is trying to keep hold of the center. So, the first four spots, really d4, d5, e4, e5. So one of the most common openings, you start by the center game, which is pawn e4, which is also known as just the king's pawn up to e4. The common variation that black will play after this is their pawn to e5. So one of the first openings I want to share with you is just the Ruy Lopez. This is one of the most common, if not the most common. That's followed by knight g to f3. Most likely, black will either play their knight g6 or even pawn move up, bishop pawn. But most of the time, they'll follow just with knight. And say they do follow with the knight move to g6, you want to follow immediately bishop to b5. This would be the Ruy Lopez. Common continuations that black would play would be, pawn moving up one. In that case, you would just move the bishop back. But what you really want to do is just pin this knight, so he can't move really. And if say he did move, like right there, you would have this attack on the pawn right in front of the queen, and that would deliver check also. So that's the first move, and keep in mind, so you want to do capture the center, right, with any of the movements. So the next one is called the Queen's Gambit. That is just the queen pawn, so d2 to d4. Most of the time, again, followed by symmetrical variation of the queen pawn for black, moving up to d5. Then the Queen's Gambit is knight c2 to c4. So then there's two popular ways that black can continue this, either pawn e2 to e3, or e7 to e6, rather. This is called the Queen's Gambit decline. Black is not capturing the pawn on c4, as opposed to just continuing their position. But the other half to this is called the Queen's Gambit accepted. So this is pawn captures. So actually this does not happen as much as Queen's Gambit decline for one reason. So like I said, you want to keep control of the center. White already has control of the center more, but another move that is mostly continued with this is pawn to e4 immediately. So this happens. So this has another discovered attack on the pawn by the f1 bishop, but it also even solidifies the white's control of the center with the two pawns. Another continuation of this by black, knight up here, or just developing the bishop. So there's some continuations. The last one is that I want to show is called the English opening. This is not used very much, but it's worth mentioning because it's becoming more common. It is pawn c4. Again, white or black could counter this just by a regular opening, and then you have to follow knight c3. It doesn't have as much control as in the center as the other ones, but it does develop the knight pretty well. So those are some of the most common openings. One also would want to keep in mind some of the fundamental rules of openings, right? The first one is just development. You want to, develop the pieces, and the pieces are not the pawns, but the bishops and knights and rooks. So you just want to develop them as soon as you can. Just various development like this. This opening right here is called the Sicilian. It's basically just a continuation of the Ruy Lopez. The second thing you want to do is castle as soon as you can. Castling, some people don't like it because it kind of isolates the king, but it also provides safety. You should always do that, honestly. Every chess player will recommend that. And another key thing to remember is try your hardest not to move the same piece twice in the first 10 to 15 moves. Like I said, it's all about just straight development. You want to get the pieces out there. Not in a dangerous position, but you just want to move them up as soon as you can. Like I said, that's really important. And that is the beginning. That's pregame. And thank you.